the elections, I want to talk about immigrants because this is who we are. And to me, immigration is a three-tier process in which we leave our countries of origin, we come to another country. In this case, we came to America from different countries. We came from Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, or all over the world. According to New York City's Department of Education, the student population of New York City speaks 200 languages. So this is the diversity of our city. So we have as many stories. You can think of how many stories we have. And so the first tier is you leave your country of origin. In my case, I left my country of origin, came to America. Second is the assimilation. You assimilate local culture and tradition as much as your own culture and tradition allows you. For example, I used to live in Peshawar. I did not wear a trouser in years, maybe like very, very rarely. Here, I don't remember when was the last time I wore shalwar kameez. So that's assimilation. In Pakistan, I did not know what is Thanksgiving or other celebrations that we have here. But now I celebrated with my kids. It's assimilation. But my integration will not complete until and unless I become complete part of the society while maintaining my own identity, who I am, what are my traditions, what is my faith belief, while respecting everybody else. And that's where your integration happens. You cannot integrate into a society by just landing in another country. And we are in that journey. Some of us, like very seniors who are sitting here, they are pretty much integrated. I am in the process of integration. And now I want to compare my journey as a voter, because I told you this is the journey of pretty much every immigrant, that we come, we assimilate, and then ultimately we integrate. When I came to America and when I became citizen, so for me, the first consideration to vote was, is this guy pro or against Pakistan? That was one consideration. And I would make my decision based on that. For local elections, I will not pay too much attention, because for me, for some reason, or maybe my ignorance, that I did not find it that exciting. So while I would wait, vote in every local election, but I would just vote on party lines. I would not know that the person that I am giving my vote to, who this person is, what are this person's promises, what this person will deliver or has delivered in the past, and is that enough to make a decision that I should give my vote to this person. And then the time passed, being a journalist, being part of the system, having followed the US elections myself, the first time that I had the exposure of really how the US elections work was in 2008, when Barack Obama was announced his candidacy. And a small media organization, Mohsin Bhai knows them, they launched a very interesting initiative. They picked 12 journalists from 12 different communities. I was one of them. I was representing Pakistani community. And we had an editor with us who was guiding us how to cover an election. And these 12 journalists, we went to New Hampshire, the state from where the primaries and basically the election starts. And we started following Obama from there. And New York Times embedded one of their reporters with us. So basically we were covering the election and he was covering us, how we are covering the election because of our very unique perspective, how we look at it. That's why our friends and colleagues, everybody mentioned in their ways why it is important to vote. And it is fascinating. It's fascinating for even the mainstream media, how we look at the US system, what are our considerations, and that's why I'm very happy that Saeed Bhai has organized such a great program in which we are talking about it. So after that, after covering that election, like I ended up covering the DNC, I didn't go to RNC, but I did go to DNC in Denver. And during that, I found that the DNCs and RNCs are basically like a big bazaars, political bazaars, where you have like political players from all over the country opening their shops. And I wrote an article as well about that, because that one thing that I saw was very striking. When I went to that, so I have a good friend of mine, he's an Indian journalist, Sujit Rajan. So me and Sujit were going to different programs because they have parallel sessions. There's a lot going on there. If you want to learn about how America works, how American democracy works, how policy is made, and who are the influencers, I think, and I invite that these organizations, these great organizations, the great work that you guys are doing, I think that you should send some people to the DNC and RNCs. It doesn't matter which party you belong to. It's education. So I found that while other communities had really very vibrant presence, I was looking for Pakistani, because being a Pakistani, I was naturally looking for some Pakistani voices there. And at one session outside, I saw a table, small table, where I saw one gentleman who is now running for Connecticut State Senate, Dr. Saud Anwar. He was sitting outside, and I knew him from my Pakistan Voice days. And I said, Dr. Saab, so why you are not inside? He said, oh, we were very late. And he had paid for everything on his own, and he had gone there. And his idea was just to make sure that at least the word Pakistan is there. Our feelings, our expectations, or our demands is not really on the table, because we are not on the table, but at least we are at the venue. And I think that's the spirit that probably we were missing at that time, but I feel probably no more, even though I haven't gone to a DNC or RNC in a while, so I'm not sure what kind of presence organizations have there. I wish they have. Coming back to my journey as a voter. So for me, it was national, because that's how we, the immigrants, decide in the beginning. But when I got more and started covering the politics more, I realized that, wait a minute, yeah, I mean, Obama was good in one way, but Obama was bad in another. It depends on whom you ask. So if you ask a supporter, they will have like 1 hour a long speech about the qualities of that person. And if you speak to an opponent, that person can also speak for an hour. So what should I do as an immigrant? Like, what is my criteria when I am deciding that what should be my issue, and why should I vote, and whom should I vote for? So I could be wrong, but these are my observations, that in every election, American elections are always decided by local, internal issues, domestic issues, economy being at the top. Immigration used to be an issue, it remains an issue, but it's not politically that, attractive anymore, because it may not bring too many votes. So what we are hearing about is right now, this election, if we talk about, if you look at the messaging, so the messaging is on economy, inflation, obviously. It's about the reproductive rights of women, the abortion rights. It's about the crime. Big, like in New York State, the election race is getting tighter and tighter between Kathy Hochul and Liz Alden, mainly because of these main issues. So, for me, as an immigrant, Initially, it was international. I thought foreign policy will decide my vote. Now, many years down the road, I feel that I think that there are three tiers that should influence your vote or your decision to vote. It doesn't matter which party or which candidate you support or oppose. One, of course, is national issues, which decide, as I mentioned, it decide the election. And then, since as a voter, I was looking at the the Democratic column, and whosoever the Democrat, I'll just give my vote. I think that was wrong. I was wrong there, because we do not pay attention to local issues, and I think that should be one of the criteria. When someone knocks at our doors, the first question that we can always ask them that, okay, I don't know enough about your candidate. May I know who this person is? What is he or she promising? So based on that, I think you can make a decision. And lastly, being immigrant, foreign policy will remain, one of the criteria. No matter in terms of your preferences, it may be at the bottom, but still, somewhere it will figure. So I think these are like three major, decision points, which you can always consider while voting for any candidate. Also, I think that this election is the most consequential election, I think, in recent American history now. We will see, because 100 out of 100 Senate seats, 35 are up for grabs. 435 members of House of Representatives are up for grabs. 36 governors are up for grabs. And the contest is very interesting. And I think that tomorrow night we should follow it, because few states, I think, will be very interesting, because Republicans have the momentum. Democrats are really pushing hard. Republicans are playing the agenda of inflation, crime, and Democrats are pushing the agenda of extremism, that these Republicans are, majority of them are extremists. And because of that, we do see a lot of divisions. And I think that in terms of political extremism, I to some extent agree with that as well. Because after 2020 elections, when Donald Trump refused to accept the results, more than 8 members of US Senate and 139 members of House of Representatives, they were election deniers. They did not accept the results. And guess what? Pretty much all of them are running again. So when they are elected or re-elected, or those election deniers who are still in the race and they are elected, so I fear, and I hope that I am wrong, but I fear that there will be a lot of political mess. Why? Few states, keep an eye on few states. Pennsylvania, results will not be coming tomorrow. Don't expect it tomorrow, because the way Pennsylvania counts its votes, it takes forever. Arizona, even longer. And in Arizona, they have really tight races. And in these states, Democrats are defending their seats. Interestingly enough, like out of 35 Senate seats up for grabs, 21 Republicans are defending their seats, and rest are, Democrats. So basically, technically, Republicans are more vulnerable, because they have to defend more seats. But what the projections are saying, that we may see a flip in Senate. We may see that the Senate may go Republican, even though it's too early to say that, because tomorrow we will see the voter turnout, because traditionally, and that's why all those the speakers prior to me, when they were saying go, vote, I think that was the best message, because lower voter turnout always, low voter turnout always help Republicans. Higher voter turnout, this is what data says, not me. Higher voter turnout always help Democrats. I think that high voter turnout helps democracy more than Democrats. So I feel that everybody need to go and definitely cast their vote because stakes are very high. And I think since the election results will not be in for the next few days, I feel that we will see political temperatures really going up. And as immigrants, we have a lot to learn, a lot to follow, and a lot to basically become more opinionated, I must say. And there's no harm in being an opinionated person, especially when it comes to local issues. So if we try to follow and see, who is on the ballot and what they're promising, so that will be really good. And one last thing before I close, I mean, I can go on and on, but I think I should stop here. One last thing, and I think I want to end these remarks with a quote from Plato, because I think it's a very powerful quote. And Plato said that one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. So don't let your inferiors come and rule over you. Elect the right people. Thank you.